Alright, so first off, I'd like to say Kal, Halal, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kodash, the banners to the apostles of Great Stone, from Elder Apostle Taha down, and shalom to the brothers doing the work of God sincerely and in truth. Right, this is Brother Ash from the Jamaica camp, with a lesson, tied to the scattering of Israel. Now, one of the if you will, not, complex, if you want to call it complex, but one of the core teachings, of the mysteries of our doctrine is about the Gentile, right? And the nation of Israel being scattered, right? And at one point we're called a Gentile in the scriptures, and that Israel is basically scattered among all nations on the planet, right? And you can't, and based on that fact, you can't judge a man based on how him look, right? Because the scattering of Israel has been taking place for a long time, right? Is not that just now, in the latest slavery, in the latest captivity, coming over here and in the transatlantic slave trade. Israel has been in the process of scattering, before that, so there are Israelites, that are so well deeply engrafted with other nations that, you cannot look unto the difference, You can't use a blue eye, or straight hair, or so-called, high-colored skin to determine that. So I'm just going to go through a few scriptures to prove that, Israel has been scattered, and is still scattered, right? This is Ezekiel 36, and I start at verse 17. He says, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doings. So their way was before me as uncleanness of a removed woman. Right? He said, therefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they have shed upon my land, and for their idols wherein they have polluted it. Right? And when we know Israel, been go off, quite a few times in a history, and the most I punish him, one of the punishments, was this. It said, and I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed to the countries according to their way and according to their doings. I judged them. Right? So as it said here, it said the Lord scattered them among the heathens. Right? So Israel been scattered, among, all nations, literally. Right? And of course, when they got there, they lay, naturally, they're going to lay with, people, the women of the people who have been scattered amongst, right? And you can expect, just by the genetic construct or makeup of a human, not only humans, but, just to say humans in this case, once you meet, with another race, then the child's gonna come, looking somewhat in between, if you will, so argument's sake, right? But if that child, let's use example. So if John Shaft, take on a Chinese woman, right? Then his son or the daughter, right? But we're gonna speak about the lineage, so we're gonna lean towards the son, right? The son of those two take on another Chinese girl, and then the grandson take on another Chinese girl, and the great grandson take on another Chinese girl. Then what is gonna happen is that going down the line, the child is gonna look more and more Chinese. But the truth is that his great great grandfather would have been Jean Shaft, right? And that's just the facts, and it's not so complicated facts, because if you really put thought into it, then you see it happen around you daily. You see it happen around you all the time, right? I have a friend in England. Maybe it's a bad example to use him, but but I'm sure it's not far. The example is not foreign. Where foreign to you. You have somebody take on a so-called white girl, a Caucasian girl, and the child come, high skin color, and then that child take another Caucasian girl, and the child come even more high skin color, right? So we know we know that the logic is factual, all right, and that's what happened to the nation of Israel over time. In their scattering. Where was I? Right, I read verse 19. I guess I can stop there with this precept. Right, so this is something what been happening over time, and it's not like the scripture hid it or hid information where that is concerned. In the scripture it tell you at various places, about the scattering of Israel. Right, I'll go and get another one right now, which is Joel 3. Joel 3. Verse 2. I guess I can start from verse 1. He said, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land." Now the point I want to bring out of this is, and what they are scattered among the nations, right? And it's not, it's not like, as I was saying before, it's not like they were scattered and they still stick, to the women of Israel, and so the lineage would have come down looking like dark skin, or in that sense, they actually were engrafted with the other nations, right? So as I explained earlier, so naturally the children will come, looking that way, right? But the point is that Israel has been scattered among, all different races. So therefore, right now, in the time at the end, right? You're gonna see, camps being made up, our PR men coming out, coming from all different race, not necessarily all different races, but coming looking like all different races, coming to the truth, right? Because they've been scattered among other nations. So if you see a guy coming now, a man come and him look, like Malaysian, right? And him saying all praises, to honor and glory to how Bashmi or Shai. Right? You can't look at him and say, oh, this man's a Eden, whatever. You know what? He actually sound like so like the apostles back in the day when they were ignorant. Right? When Paul, was explaining that, that he's also a teacher unto the Gentiles. Right? Because even Peter at first was a bit disgruntled, right, about the large room of vision, right? That that these men, are the Gentile, right? Are Israelites, that fell off and were scattered, right? And he's also bringing back them into the fold as well, right? Matter of fact, I can't even get a precept, when the disciples, was it the disciples? Let me get it. I think it was disciples or the Pharisees were questioning where about Yahushua's movement. St. John 7:35. 7:35. Right, here we go. In St. John 7, verse 35, he says, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Who are the dispersed? Right, we read it earlier. We read it earlier in Ezekiel, who are the dispersed. Right? Shall he go among, or shall he go, um, where is it? Will he go among the dispersed, among the Gentiles, and teach the Gentiles? Right, so obviously you have two different Gentiles or the Gentile in a sentence, right, related to two different set of people, right? Because one is referring to the heathen and one is referring to the children, the same children of Israel, right? Motherfuck, let me get this precept really quick. This is Hosea 8 and verse 8. It said, Israel is swallowed up, now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. So when he said the Gentiles among the Gentiles, he said Israel is swallowed up, now shall they be among the Gentiles. So Israel is that Gentile among the Gentile, right? Because further up in Hosea, it tells that the Lord cast away his people, right? And said there are no more my people. That Hosea 1, right? So in that same pretext or context, where you want to put it, is when the Lord cast them off, right, and start calling them Gentile, right? That's when the one who remained in the land, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, start considering them to be Gentile, because they were they made cast off and started them one thing, right? So they were considered Gentile. No, not only that, but even in at the time in a time of the analyze, what is that word, what is that word? It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't pronounce it at the moment. Let me tell you. In at the time of the Greco-Roman Empire, even before the Greek Empire, with men like what is his? Oh my gosh. With Epiphanes and the Ptolemaic Empire, you had Israelites who were Hellenized, right, and took on Greek custom, right, Greek and Roman custom in at that time, right, and they were considered to be Gentiles. Now, in at the time when Paul, was what Paul and Peter was going about, right, in a closer regions like Macedonia, Mesopotamia, and around those regions, right? Though they are the main ones, that they were preaching unto, right? Them who were Hellenized from back before, even before Yahushai, even before and after Yahushai, came on the scene, right? Because I said you had a lot of Israelites, back even the time I've been calling him earlier, in a Epiphany, in a Antiochus Epiphanes, that made Greek their customs, their custom, right? And took on Greek culture and all of that. Because even Cornelius himself is an Israelite, but he was one of the one who was Hellenized into being, into the Roman customs, right? I got that. Which what other one did I have? Not seen the other one, but however, right. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you cannot expect that everyone that's coming into this truth is gonna have that dark skin, nigger hair, brown eyes, whatever, because as the scripture had said, that Israel's been scattered among the nations, yo. So if you have to that's why you have to judge by the spirit, right? You have to expect that you're gonna see brothers show up, not looking like you per se, are looking like Shaft, or with dark skin, or the whole negrite ear, right? You have to expect that, yo, right? That's why you need to judge by the spirit, as I said earlier, right? There are a lot more precepts I can get into, that speak about scattering and Israel being dispersed, but that's for now, and I maybe elaborate about it in the next video, when I speak about how the Lord will um separate or bring back the fold together of Israel. Right? So until that one, Shalom.